3, 2, Brandon.
Mark!
Hey, buddy.
Hey!
So where are we, Brandon?
We are in a hotel room.
Yeah, we are.
Together.
And whose pants are off right now?
Your pants are off?
Yeah. Brandon, you can see under the table.
Oh,
For the first time since we started doing this podcast, there's actually a couple of firsts. First, for the first time since we started doing the podcast, we're actually in the same place, filming together, or recording together, I guess.
Yeah.
And for the first time ever on Mars, we also have a guest appearing on show. It's our good friend Jeff. Am I saying this right? Mandel?
Can I go back to bed?
Drink your alcohol. We hired our friend Jeff to come on the show. Jeff Madel is, we've known for several years at this point.
Yeah.
And we're all together because some of our very good friends are getting married on today's date, which is not the date this is going live, but we're together because of that. And I'm happy to be here.
Wow.
On location.
So much.
We're on location today.
Yeah, on location.
So our good friends Matt and Shannon are getting married, and we all...
I thought you meant Matt and Chamos.
Okay, look, I can't write cursive. I admit that I can't write cursive. But yeah, so we're here for the wedding, and we thought, what better fucking way to spend the downtime than recording some shit for you guys.
Face to face.
Face to face.
Tough face. Good morning, boys and girls. Sometimes you have to wake up, grab a cup of coffee, talk about some nerdy shit. It's the something morning, boys.
So Brandon, there's something I've been wanting to ask you for a while.
Okay, what's that?
If you could make out with any animal, what would it be?
I don't like this topic.
Okay. Let me phrase this a different way. If you could make out with any consenting animal, what would it be?
How does an animal consent?
They say I consent to this.
But they can't speak.
No, they're sentient. They're a sentient, consenting animal. So it's a consenting animal.
Who can speak?
Who can speak, yes.
I was going to say, because you can be sentient and not speak.
Right, that's a deaf person or a mute person.
Does it speak with words or does it telepathize?
No, it speaks in words.
Okay.
So
Well, because if it's not... Well, I mean, either way this goes, I mean, someone could have just, like, snuck me, like, really strong drugs.
No, you're sober. Nobody's drugged you. An animal comes up to you and says, I'm consenting...
I think the animal might have drugged him with its love.
The animal comes up to you and says, Brandon, I'm consenting to this makeout sesh. What is the animal?
One, I'm like, hey, excuse me, you just came out of nowhere and you're just telling me this? You didn't even say hello.
Hello, Brandon. I'm consenting to this makeout sesh. What is it, Brandon?
I don't know. I'd probably say a white tiger.
Okay. Jeff?
A whale shark.
Oh.
They don't got teeth.
They don't?
I don't.
You're losing a fucking tongue. I'm fine. I may be licking up some krill, but I'm good.
I mean, that's fine.
And if you're into vor, that might work out in your favor.
Now, Brandon, you've already said white tiger. You can't take that back. I do want to let you know that the entire time you guys are making out, every couple of seconds, the tiger pulls away and whispers in your ear, I'm consenting to this.
I do not like that at all.
Just keeps getting, like, and you hear a soft purring every so often.
Soft purring is fine. I do not like...
I'm consenting to this,
He
Brandon.
wants you to know that he still consents.
Yeah. That way, because eventually the drugs are going to...
You know why?
Wait a minute! You said I wasn't drugged!
No. Here's the thing is, even
No,
if
you
you
assumed
were
you were
on
drugged.
drugs, even if you were on drugs, at some point that would wear off. So he's making sure that you know that even long after you guys started, I'm talking days later, he's still consenting.
He's
Days.
looking out for you. He's making sure that you're okay legally.
What is this? Fucking Smokey the Bear?
I mean, only you can prevent forest fires.
I mean, he's not wrong.
What are you gonna make out with?
Oh, this isn't
Smokey the
a
Bear.
question for me.
Oh
This
no,
is-
I'm flipping the table.
Well, in Mark's world, it's not so much what he's going to make out with, so much as what type of animal costume he's getting ready to buy.
Right, which probably means he's about to go run by a white tiger furry
and
suit.
a whale shark.
I would actually like to see what that furry suit would look like. There's not enough fish furries.
I think a whale
What
shark
would that
furry
be?
soup would be like a van, because it'd have to be so big.
No, but here, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like, I know that furries are called, like, they're furries. Then there's scalies, which are like reptilians and shit.
Well, I think you'd have to put the fish in the scalies.
I don't think you would, though.
They have scales.
Well, no, scalies refers to reptiles. Just reptiles.
Well,
And then
they
there's
need to
the-
broaden that
Then
spectrum.
there's the
like,
avians.
you know.
The avians are like birds and shit.
We got to LGBTQIA the shit out of this.
So what are we making? Not amphibians. What are we making water-dwelling creatures? Because it's not just fish.
Amphibians.
Gillians.
Wait, so does
which
anybody...
also sounds...
Does anybody animal play like a dolphin? Because that'd be our starting point. I feel like I've seen furry dolphins.
I think I have two. And sharks. I've seen.
I've
definitely
seen sharks.
furry
Well,
sure.
especially since Lady Gaga, or not Lady Gaga, I'm sorry, Katy Perry at the halftime.
Oh yeah, Katy Perry. Yeah.
With her sharks on stage.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
shark, right, shark?
surprised. I'm surprised that Katy Perry doesn't dress up as a cat and go by Katy Perry.
We don't know that she doesn't. We're not here to kink
We
shame.
have never seen her in her house.
You're not wrong. I have.
In her
You
day-to-day
haven't.
life.
I have.
So, like,
the scalies are reptiles.
The deep blue somethings.
No, because
sounds like a great band name.
or a great porno for that kind of category.
Well, isn't... Nope, not gonna say it. Gonna get in trouble.
Deep blue penetrators.
Water livers?
Water livers?
Water
livers?
sapiens? Aqua sapiens.
Why not just aquatics?
I like
Okay,
aqua
aquatics.
sapiens.
No, I like aquatics. Because it's not furry sapien. It's not It's not fur human. It's just furries.
Loquations.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're loquacious.
I don't know. I like aquatics.
Yeah,
I
aquatics.
like
works really
aquatics.
Okay, so what's your aquatic whale shark costume look like? First
It's-
off, are you wearing full clothes like a furry, or are you just wearing a swimsuit?
good. No, I just shave all the hair off my body and cover myself in KY jelly.
Well,
and
the
just
good news is
lay
we
down
already
with my
shaved the
mouth
hair
open.
off last night, so we got that.
Exactly.
part
Yeah, we're already
done.
we're on top of this already.
No, because now you essentially... Like, 'cause let's be honest. With furries, it's essentially like, I've always wanted to be this mascot.
Right. I've always wanted to shave myself
So
down and
what
cover myself
would
with
a
KY jelly.
mascot, like for a baseball team called the...
Well,
whale
actually,
shark?
the whale sharks
let me
look like.
let me back up here. Is it that a furry's always wanted to be like a professional sports mascot, or a furry's always wanted to be that specific animal? And I am honestly asking this. I don't actually know.
It's more of there's a lot of depending on how serious about it is. There's furries, and then there's people that refer to themselves as animalkin. Now, animalkins are like, I feel like I am a wolf trapped in a human's body.
So I want to fuck the animal kids.
Okay, that's totally fine.
That's what
you
we're
fuck
saying.
The animalkins.
Okay, cool.
I just want to cover myself in KY jelly, Brandon.
You can do that and not have a reason.
I'm just saying, we got a hotel bathtub we can fill up.
That's a
With
lot
KY.
of KY.
Just get one of the 55-gallon drums of or of just lube, just
Do
regular
you
lube.
not have a lube guy? Weirdo.
They actually, I was looking this up. They actually have bigger sizes of lube,
Hold on.
You know, like
Bigger than the, like...
bigger than the 55-gallon
Okay,
drums.
All right.
you know,
I wanna
like
know
when
how
you get
big.
like the storm preppers like water thing that like you fill like the big blue one that like you carry in a pickup truck.
Oh, yeah, the
They
rain
sell
tank.
that size of KY jelly, and I'm not even making that up.
275 gallons of reconditioned IBC, or let me see, it's a reconditioned IBC tote tank filled with lube.
Porn companies tend to buy them. And Mark.
How do you... I'm curious, like, so you get the big-ass... Let's call it a barrel for sake, you know. You
Big-ass
get the
barrel.
big-ass barrel
How do
of
you get
lube.
it out?
Big-ass
How do you
barrel.
get
How
it
are
out?
you
That's
getting
what
it
I'm-
out?
Well, so
like,
there's a spigot
no,
at the
no,
bottom.
No.
Oh, how do you get the KY out?
Yeah.
There's a spigot out of the bottom.
Oh, look at that.
I have photographs, guys. I can actually show Brandon the shit I'm talking about
And
this time.
then, while there are spigots,
It's funny because
the real players
that
just
same
stab a hole in the
container-
side. It just...
That same container is used for a lot of alcohol.
Uh-huh.
Well, the other thing is, they've got that, and they got the spigot at the bottom, but they also, you know, if you want to dole it out in smaller quantities, have those backpacks for the pink slime from Ghostbusters 2. You just spray that everywhere. Yeah.
Alternatively, you just get a Camelback, fill it with lube, and just...
Man, that gets real bad when you pick the wrong Camelback to go camping.
All of a sudden, you're just guzzling.
Just taking guzzling. Well, I mean, it's water-based. I'll be fine.
It is water soluble.
Water soluble. That doesn't mean.
Just make sure to only use the water solubles with your toys, otherwise it could ruin them.
What are you
Alright.
doing with that vodka?
Nothing. I'm not doing
Nothing.
anything.
He's
with
doing
the
stuff
vodka.
with
I'm
that
just
skull.
holding the vodka.
No, you're throwing it back and forth like
Brandon,
you're.
I don't drop shit. I've never dropped shit ever. Okay, I might have dropped that
However,
shit.
comma.
All right, so I didn't get a chance to answer. So my animal of choice,
Mark, what animal would you make out with if they were constantly
Brandon's
consenting?
dog.
Which one?
You leave my fucking
Just kidding.
dogs
I would
out
not
of
do
this.
that. I love your dogs, but
Well,
not
quick
like,
question.
I don't love them.
Do you mean Bucky or Gwen, or is that a euphemism for his cock? Yes, gotcha. Okay.
He is shaking his head in agreement.
No, honestly,
The term
I'd
is
probably.
emphatically.
I think I'd choose a wolf, like a really big wolf, like an actual wolf,
Like a dire wolf?
like a dire wolf. That'd be cool.
Those
They're
those
extinct,
fuckers are huge.
and they're extinct.
Not
that's
necessarily.
They are.
Oh,
You
you're
don't
going to have
know
to
that.
slip a lot of fucking Mentos into that mouth before you make out with it.
Brandon,
Yes.
the dire wolf was a real creature, and they've been extinct since the Ice Age.
No, actually, they
How
think
do
they
you
found
know?
a dire wolf hybrid as recently as 2 years ago.
That's a hybrid. It's not a pure-blooded dire wolf.
I mean, it's
And Brandon,
still
how
like
do I know that? Because I read fucking books.
You know,
Books!
you've never studied cryptids then.
I have.
Oh, apparently not.
I'm so annoyed you're flying out tomorrow, otherwise we would take you to Joliet to a store we found.
What if we just had
It's
fuck
called
at the wedding?
Books!
Really?
It is called
That's the name of the store.
Bucks!
Books!
Fuck.
Also, because my dream was to have. It's literally right next to the Blues Brothers prison. And-
Statesville.
Yeah, and I absolutely want to drive up to the back of the fucking prison and recreate the scene from Blues Brothers.
That would be pretty great.
Music and all.
Which is also down the street from, you didn't
Wait,
see
what
this,
time? Where is?
Blues Brothers Ice Cream.
Ooh.
Why didn't you?
Because we were going the other direction and we were already late to pick him up.
So Brandon,
Yes.
if I was choosing a currently living creature that can be confirmed to be living, I would choose like a
Minotaur.
timber wolf.
Okay.
Timber wolf. Just
Killed
'cause-
lots of Timberwolves in Red Dead
I
Redemption.
bet you fucking did. Did you say Minotaur?
Yeah. You want a real existing animal that's been proven today. Minotaur.
On the topic of things like minotaurs, Brandon,
Yeah.
where do you think a centaur's penis would be? Like, would it be between like the haunches of the horse, or sticking out in the front, like where the man? part
No,
would
we're
be?
No,
going
it's
full on
horse
back
haunches.
haunches.
Okay.
Believe me, I've studied the centaur anatomy a
I
lot.
bet you
Okay,
have.
then you're the one to ask. Is there such thing as a centaur that's human female and horse male, or vice versa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can have a human
Just go
dude
look-
centaur with a giant horse pussy.
Yeah. You need to watch more hentai.
I wouldn't want. I mean, of
Trust
those-
me, I watch plenty of hentai.
Of those
It's all
calculations,
tentacles.
man. Of those.
Yeah, you need to
fucking,
branch out.
Of the options there, I wouldn't want the dude centaur with the pussy. I'd rather have the,
No,
the
you
chick
get-
centaur with the big old dick.
Absolutely, especially like a busty one.
Hey, but
You get
the
nice
thing
big-
is, it's all
oh.
about those people out in the world that want
No,
a little
I'm-
bit of.
but you
Dude,
know
that's
what?
fine. Like, I'm all about like. I've watched some. What's his name? What's that? What's
Gandhi.
No. Buck Angel. I've watched Buck Angel porn before.
Guys, I think this is the one time though where you don't actually want a busting woman. Because if she's galloping around like all that, I mean,
Well,
those are hanging
Do you
down
think she
like.
gets any black eyes when
those are-
she's running around?
I was gonna say like two eggs
her
just
jaw
running down
is just
the chest.
her jaw is just constantly swollen from
Just a couple of tube
smacking her in
socks
the face.
stapled to her chest.
Oh.
Oh God!
That's when an A or a
No,
B
she would
cup
just wear
that
a
comes
sports
in handy.
bra.
Yeah. When have you ever seen any centaur wearing any type of clothing that is not conducive to battle?
So
The
topless
other
is
day,
the way
I
to
was
go.
down at the whorehouse. I saw a centaur walk in. She was wearing a sports bra.
Oh, I got bad news for you, buddy.
She just hit the gym.
That was just a chick hanging out with two LPs.
What?
LP.
That was just a lady walking in front of two little people.
Wow.
Cut that out, Mark. You can't use that, Mark.
I didn't say midgets.
You,
You,
this, I told you I was worried. I told you I was worried about
This
having
is
him
your
on the show.
fault. You two did this.
we do this though.
We do this. Well, it's like that one time we were drinking plantation rum, and
Can't say plantation. Plantation's racist.
I mean, there's a whole song from 101 Dalmatians about it.
Um,
Also, can we talk real quick on that?
Actually,
topic?
quick question: is the plantation inherently racist?
No, a plant in America, yes.
yes, it's inherently racist in America. I
Listen-
would also assume it's probably inherently racist in no, just here.
Well, I
A
think
plantation is just
technically
a large farm or
a
ranch.
large estate where you plant things,
Yeah.
right? Now, don't get me wrong. Early Americans took it the wrong direction.
Absolutely.
You know.
But in 101 Dalmatians, he's singing about having a Dalmatian plantation, and unless he had those Dalmatians,
Ooh, but that actually is bad.
Because they're in
Because that's
France.
a puppy farm.
they're not in France. They're in
No,
England.
but because a Dalmatian plantation, it's a puppy farm.
They weren't
They
farming
are
more
in-
puppies.
they are
Though.
in
They already
England.
they just had all the puppies already.
Wouldn't you assume a Dalmatian plantation's a puppy farm, though?
I would.
If a plantation is just inherently, technically a farm,
If you
Dalmatian
watch the
plantation.
follow-up films, they never have any more puppies. They just raise the puppies that they already have. Which, given it's 101 fucking Dalmatians,
it's
gonna
about
make
to be
more puppies.
101 fucking Dalmatians.
they got them all snipped.
oh
You-
my
oh,
god,
yeah,
that's
did
the
they
biggest
include-
vet bill of all time.
I have watched both the animated sequels and the live-action sequels, and in both of those, there are no other puppies.
You're saying sequels plural. Is there 103 Dalmatians at some point?
102 Dalmatians.
Okay, okay. I just want to make sure. I only
There's
knew of
also the
102
animated.
Dalmatians.
Well, no. You know what? There is in 102 Dalmatians. There is a new litter of puppies from one pair of the original puppies.
They just didn't snip all the
They
way.
didn't snip those ones. But I've also watched the animated series, which was weird because there was a completely different animation style.
Did they ever discuss where the 90 extra puppies came from? Because Pergo and...
Pongo and Purdy had 15 puppies.
Oh, I thought they had 11.
They had 15, and then Cruella de Vil stole a bunch of Dalmatians.
So
from her.
basically, they de facto just kidnapped. What's
I mean,
that?
it's effectively
85 puppies.
It's effectively what I did when I was a
86
kid and
puppies.
stole a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They They laundered. They fucking laundered those puppies.
Did you name and take in and neuter your Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
No, so when I was okay. So this is a story now. When I was in my youth, I think I was about
Your
11.
Ute?
My youth.
The Utes.
I was living in Utah at the time, and you can't say Utes anymore. Apparently, that's offensive too.
Wait, what?
To
Then what are you,
who?
whoa.
The Utes?
Then what are you supposed to call people
Well,
from Utah?
fair.
Utahnians?
Utahns. Dude, Utes
One
was a
letter
Native
away
American.
from being called a crouton.
Was a group of Native Americans that was completely like wiped out.
Well, that's like saying you can't call Illinois anymore. It's named after the Illini tribe.
Yeah, that's why we call it Illinois.
Yeah.
I hate you so much.
Okay. Irregardless, I was
All right.
living in Utah at the time.
So you're a Utan in Utah.
Utah. Yes.
Utah?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Can we just start calling them croutons?
Croutons. I was a crouton living in Croutah, and I was about 11 years old, and my parents didn't like buying me Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards because they thought it was evil.
Oh, so your parents didn't like buying you anything.
My parents didn't like buying me anything, but that's not
How
why.
is it evil? I can see Yu-Gi-Oh, but how's Pokemon
Because
evil?
Yeah.
pocket monsters, also
Dog
known as
fights?
pocket demons.
They're just
and-
dog fights with electrical and fire.
That's not why
No
our parents
parent
didn't.
understands that.
Yeah, I know.
They hated it because it was...
They didn't
Japanese.
like it because
Exactly.
it was Japanese, because there was an innate xenophobia in the Christian community, and and evangelicals said that Pokemon is the devil's work.
Yeah.
Seriously,
that one.
I'm not kidding.
So, because my parents
Alright.
didn't like buying
Yeah,
me
it's bull.
these things that I absolutely loved, I saved up all my money to buy
Oh, not
myself
another
some
one of these
Yu-Gi-Oh
stories.
cards. Oh no, it gets
There's
better.
a lot of these stories.
I saved up my money for like 6 months to buy myself the Kaiba starter deck.
That's Yu-Gi-Oh?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's one of the
Came with the
characters'
Blue
names.
Eyes White Dragon.
Oh, motherfucker. How many? Just one?
Just the one.
Okay.
You had to buy multiple decks to get them, but to get all three.
I
But-
know that I watched the cartoon. I never played the card game, so I know that you can get basically like a Hydra Blue Eyes Dragon.
Yeah, that one. That's why I wanted all three.
Dude, that's tight.
But the problem was when I bought it, it was like it's like that first taste that you give to an elementary school kid to get them hooked on drugs.
Yeah, you know, as you
I'm
do.
not saying I've done that. I'm just saying it's
No,
a
Brandon
similar
does.
thing. Right. Brandon's the one.
That's how he built his empire.
So, I bought that first starter deck, and I was like, I need more. But the problem is, I don't have the patience to wait months at a time to save up for packs.
So Mark
How
became
How much
a
were
thief.
packs? I thought
They were like $2.99. I didn't get an allowance. This was I would find change on the ground and save it.
So already he's stealing.
That, and I guess technically your parents are like
de facto encouraging you to just go into strangers' houses so you can just look in there.
It's
couch
almost like
cushions
his
and shit.
parents don't want to work for any money, and they.
Okay, these are
also
my parents. I can
spread
say
that
this shit.
to- It's also like they were passing that same mentality onto their kids.
So what ended up
Mark
happening?
works.
Yeah, he does now because Mark and the rest of his family did not become like their parents.
That corner in St. Charles has been busy this weekend.
It has, and I'm proud of you.
Hey, they all give me $2 a piece. I gotta get as much as I can, right? So I gotta get as many
Did
packs.
you tell that joke last night?
I did.
All right.
So what ended up happening was, again, I didn't want to wait 6 months to save up to buy a few packs. So what I did was I went to Walmart with my parents one day, and I may or may not have 5-finger discounted myself 3 packs of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
But I don't know. I know 5-finger. I know that 5-finger discount means stealing, but for some reason when you say it sounds sex.
So I got home.
It sounds sex.
It sounds sex. I got home and I unpacked them, and I got some good shit. And
this didn't discourage you.
the fucking rush that I got from just doing this and not getting caught. First of all, I got some pretty cool Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Second of all, I hit a high that did not go away for weeks from doing this. And so a few weeks later, I'm like, man, this was cool. I'm so glad I got these new cards. But you know what would be really cool is if I had some other new cards. So the next time we went to Walmart, I pocketed 5 packs of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And got home, and goddamn, that rush hit. But it didn't last as long the second time around. So the next time we went to Walmart, which was about 2.5 weeks later, I pocketed 9 packs of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh my dear Lord.
And it just got exponentially larger and larger. This started in March and went all the way up until, I think, February of the following year. What the fuck are you showing him now?
Don't worry about it.
I want to see. You keep pointing at me. What the fuck is it?
As a surprise.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Back to you.
Anyway,
Quick question. Are you literally pocketing, or are these like going pocket, front of pants?
nope,
like
all pocket.
Okay. How many cargo shorts did you own as a kid?
None.
Now it's gotten
I had
impressive.
cargo pants.
Getting impressive.
I had cargo pants. So, like I said, this went from March till February of the following year.
Jesus Christ.
So, again, like, things would get...
So basically, if you want to rob a Walmart, go to Utah.
Apparently. Go to Tooele. Go to Utah, Tooele. That's where you get it. So, yeah. So, as time went by, like, you know, it would, like, I wouldn't get more each time. I would, you know, chop down a little bit just to keep it safe. So if they did catch me, it's like, oh, I've got 3 packs of Pokemon cards. My bad.
Yeah, weird thing. Our inventory seems off this week.
So, what I ended up doing, because...
Meanwhile, they've set up a sting operation because they're like, man, someone is just running away with these Pokemon cards, these Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I didn't steal Pokemon cards from Walmart, but we'll get to when the Pokemon came. So my klepto, I got at this point I turned into
sites for your criminal empire.
I turned into a fucking klepto. Like, it wasn't just like I did it because I wanted more Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I just fucking did it at this point. So I went to Target with my mom one time. And I was like, I can't steal Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards from the same place. They'll get suspicious.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to Target, and at this point, I'd already been doing this for a few months, so I was already cocky. I stole $200 worth of products from Target the first time.
Holy fuck.
$2.99 pack? So you stole almost 100 packs?
No, I also stole some of the starter decks. And let me tell you, buddy.
Still just cargo pants in it?
Still cargo pants in it. And I got away with a lot. And then...
Well, you got away with that?
I got away with... Dude, I got away with this up until February. February was like my big... I had been doing this for almost a year. I was feeling good. I felt cocky as shit.
He's got a group of other kids he brings to the store, and each of them steals a pack, and they all give Mark all the packs. And
It's like
he opens the packs, and he shovels it up, and he deals a few out to each kid.
No. So, what ended up happening come February, because like I said, I've been doing this for a year. I had stolen up to this point about $1,500 worth of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards.
It's actually not that bad.
Me and my grandma.
Yeah, it is.
So with my parents, I had to like be sneaky. I had to sneak away, get away from my parents. With my grandma, she wasn't paying attention at all. So I didn't have to try. And I figured this out when we were at the dollar store. We were at the dollar store. And let me tell you, I had money at the dollar store. At this point, I was just doing it for fun. I was at the dollar store. I bought some stuff. I had like $5 left over. And this was the first time I ever saw white chocolate Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh, that's going to change your life.
It did.
I disagree. I think the dark chocolate are the best.
Get the fuck out.
Okay.
So anyway, I see for the first time in my life white chocolate Reese's cups, and I'm like, I still have $5. I can buy some of this. And I put it right in my bag and walked out of the store. I didn't pay for it. I could have paid for it.
What's wrong with you?
I should have paid for it, but I didn't. I just walked out of the store with it.
I like that you note that you actively thought about how you did have the option to pay for it.
I had the money. I could have paid for it, but I chose not to. I wanted that rush. Because at this point, like, I'd been doing it for so long, like, I wasn't getting the rush to last as long, so I was like, I have to get small rushes.
You're like a heroin addict for stealing.
How did you not grow up to be a drug addict?
Have you ever been a klepto?
I don't think so.
Exactly. You don't know what it's like. Have you ever been a klepto?
No.
Okay. There's that part of you that's like, I hate that I'm doing this, but it's also like, the fucking rush that I'm getting from this is so amazing that I want to keep doing it.
The way you're talking just sounds like high school me with porn.
That's also an addiction!
That's a lifestyle.
So, yeah, so come February. I knew my grandma was the perfect person to do this with. Because nobody's going to think...
Jesus.
Nobody's going to ever be like...
You made your grandma your mule.
This little old lady's grandson is stealing stuff. Nobody's ever going to think that. So what ends up happening is, I got cocky. I got so cocky. Come February, it's cold outside. Like, everyone's bundled up in, like, 15 layers, right? So what I do is I wear my snow pants. And what I do is I cut the pockets of my snow pants and just fill up my legs with cards.
Oh my god.
How many packs would you say were in
I'll
there?
give you the dollar amount at the end of this.
Okay.
So, I fill up my pockets. I filled up, like, I had several under layers that I filled up with stuff. And,
You must have looked like you were going into, like, a real shitty war.
No.
It's just like the world's worst armor plating.
You remember A Christmas Story? When the kid is so bundled up, the little brother, he's just waddling through the street.
Or like Maggie in her winter
Yeah.
costume.
Yeah.
Just a star.
So, what ended up happening as we were leaving is a couple of gentlemen walked up and tapped my grandmother on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And she's like, "Oh, did I drop my gloves or something?" Except she was an old racist bitch, so it would have been something more like, "Don't
that's
touch
right,
me."
'cause you don't like your grandma.
I loved grandma. She was just an old racist psychopath.
Oh, yeah.
But so she, in reality, she
As-
probably said
as
something
they
more
tend
akin
to be.
to, "What the fuck are you touching me for, you old bastard," or something like that. So anyway, they're like, "Could we have you come back in the store for just a second?" And they lead us into that little side room that you see whenever you walk into Walmart, but it's always like employees only door.
Uh-huh.
That's
It's
the
a
security
it's a
room.
holding room.
That
You
is
know
the
what the funny
security
part is?
room.
Had she not walked in, they couldn't have done
Also
it.
true.
They can't go after you.
So we're sitting in the security room, and Grandma was like, "What's going on? What the hell? Why are we here?"
Am I the 1 million shopper?
And they're like, "Man," they look at me and they're like, "Son, could you do me a favor?" And I was like, "Uh-oh." They're like, "Would you mind emptying your pockets?" And I'm like, me being the smart little shit that I am, I'm like, "There's nothing in my pockets, see?" And they're like, "Okay, what about your coat pockets?" And I pull out the coat pockets and they're like, "What about your undercoat?" These guys, they had been tailing me. They knew, at this point, they knew who I was. So they busted me and they're like, "Yeah, can you empty out your undercoat pockets?" And I'm like, fuck. So I pull up my coat and I start pulling out and stacking them up. There was like 10 or 12 packs. And they're like, "All right, how about the rest of it?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking
now
about."
Can you take off your pants?
Well, no, I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And like the guy's like, "Dude," and he pulls up a camera and shows me stuff in my pockets. I'm like, okay.
What's your grandma saying at this point?
She is white as chalk. Just like, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And so they're like, "Can you please just make this easier on all of us?" And so I'm like, okay. So I reach in, and I'm not shitting you. It took me 10 minutes to unload my pocket. And I'm just sitting there looking at this stack get bigger and bigger and bigger. There were 4 different starter decks. There was, all in all, over $500 worth of Yu-Gi-Oh cards jammed in my pockets.
Jesus.
And then, the worst thing that you can do to a child when they've done something wrong we're gonna have to call your parents. And grandma, I'm pretty sure this might have been one of the things that ended up killing her in the long run. But they get on the phone, they call my parents, and I call my mom, and they're like, okay, we'll talk to her. I was like, oh, thank God. And so they get on, hi, we want to talk to Mrs. Walker, and I was like, and she's like, yeah, this is her. I'm on. They have her on speakerphone, and like, hi, this is Sergeant Talbot from Walmart.
Sergeant.
Well, he was actually a cop. It wasn't just a rent-a-cop. It was an actual police officer.
They brought in the big guns.
Yeah. They're like, this is Sergeant Talbot at the Walmart in Tooele. We have your son. And she's just like, well, what's going on? Is everything okay? And he's like, all right, do you want to tell her what you did? And I was like, fuck, I thought you said you were going to talk to her. And so he's like, so I'm like, yeah, Mom.
All right, we have your son. Son, do you want to tell him what you did? I did nothing.
I was like, I stole a bunch of stuff. And they're like, and she's like, what? And I was like, I stole a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And she's like, oh, fuck me, fuck. And he's like, do we need to call your husband or anything? And she's like, no, I'll call him and tell him.
No, call the police.
So I got home and I got my ass beat. And my parents are like, okay, here's your punishment. In addition to getting my ass beat and having to come up with the money to pay the fine of, like, I think it was like $200 fine that I had to pay. Because they got all.
That's it? They didn't have to pay for the cards?
They got all the cards back, like, that they knew about. Because they didn't know about the other cards. So what ended up happening was my dad sits me down, hands me a pair of scissors.
Oh,
and
no.
he says, you are cutting up every single card that you have. And I was like, okay. And so I had to go through each and every one of them and cut them in half. And my dad's like, okay, so now I have a question for you. How much did you steal? And I was like, I don't know, like a lot. And he's like, do you have any more? And I was like, nope. Where's the rest of them? And I was like, what do you mean the rest of them? He's like, well, this can't have been all of them if you stole $1,500 worth of stuff. And I was like, I gave them away as Christmas presents to a bunch of my friends. I fucking money laundered the shit out of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
My dear Lord.
I fucking money laundered them. Like, I cannot believe that I, at that age, did all that. But yeah, that was the day that my parents disowned me, I guess.
Well, it was only going to be a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real here.
You might be the only person who's ever been disowned over Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I very much beg to differ. But yeah, so that's how I money laundered some fucking Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Now, like I said, like we've already discussed a couple of times, my parents weren't always the best parents. I will say they tried. They definitely tried to do the good. But when your parents are involved in just about every pyramid scheme ever, they don't always work out very well. So, Brandon, I don't know if I've ever told you this. For my 18th birthday, my parents bought me into a company called Ambit Energy, which is a network marketing electrical company.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it.
In fact, I tried to get you to join it.
Oh, yeah, that was the same one you tried to get me to join.
So, that was my 18th birthday present, was them doing that for me.
Is that what you signed me up for last night?
Mark.
No.
You back in it?
No, it was a different one. But my parents have been part of just about every pyramid scheme ever. And we're eating lunch right now, guys, because we're fucking hungry.
And drinking a bit.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, guys. This isn't really sunrise with the Sleepy Boys. This is lunchtime with the Sleepy Boys.
But 2/3 of us did wake up within the last hour.
Yeah, I've been up since fucking 7 o'clock this morning because Jeff snores like a fucking bear.
Step up
And
your
he
game.
looks like a bear.
Step up your game, homie.
But yeah, so funny enough, when I first moved back to Austin back in 2016, and I was looking for a job, a friend of mine from high school reached out, and he was, well, not a friend of mine, the brother of one of my friends from high school, calls me up, and he's like,
A dude from high school.
a guy I went to high school with, he calls me up, and he's like, hey man, I saw you just moved to Austin, I'd love to meet up with you, let's go get dinner, I'll buy you Chili's, and I was like, I'm not gonna say no to fucking Chili's.
You're gonna give me a fajita?
You gonna give me a whole fajita to myself? So I sit down with the guy at Chili's, and he's with this guy who's like 50, 55 years old. And I'm like, is this like a sugar daddy situation?
How old are you guys at this point?
Let's see, it was 4 years ago. I would have been 23, 24.
And how old was Sugar Baby?
23.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
So we're sitting down and I'm like, is this like a sugar baby situation? He's like, so this is my friend Jeremy. I'm like, that guy is not named Jeremy. Jeremy is a millennial name. That is a Dustin. That is
A Dwight?
A Dwight, maybe, but Jeremy, no.
Ooh,
Possibly
maybe a
a Gerald.
Jerry.
A Jerry, maybe.
Ooh.
A Jerome, for sure. Not a Jeremy.
All right, so Jerome.
Now, I want to preface this by saying that Jeremy, air quotes, was like I said, he was in his 50s, but he had his hair like spiked up, like in the
Oh, God.
douchebag Chad point that you see.
Oh, yeah.
He looked like Tristan from Yu-Gi-Oh. And
You dildo.
he was wearing like he was dressed like he was trying to pretend he was in his like early 30s.
I'm just imagining the assholes from American Pie.
Basically, yeah. So he's sitting there. He's like, "This is my friend Jerome, probably." And he's like, he actually introduced me to this company a few months ago. And I'm like, "Oh, great." And so they're talking, and they're using all the trigger words that I would hear whenever I'd go to Ambit meetings. You know, do you want to be independently wealthy? Do you want to be financially free? Do you want to all these things? And I'm just like, they're gonna try and get me to sign up for Ambit. And after about 20 minutes of their spiel, he finally shows me the business. And I'm like, this is a completely different business, and they are using all the same fucking trigger words.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like...
Because they all use the exact same
They all
word.
use the same lingo.
It's the exact same vocab and everything.
Well, because most pyramid schemes are started by people, once their pyramid scheme ends, they just start another one.
Yep. So, the entire time they're giving me this spiel, I'm just jamming down baby back ribs and blooming onions.
Because you're like, I need to eat as much as I can.
I'm like, if they're paying for dinner, I'm going to let them keep talking. And
amazingly, just taking the bone and just sucking the meat straight off it.
That was an absolute accurate Mark noise.
That's an absolutely accurate thing that I would do, too. So, I'm letting them do their spiel, because like, I don't want to be rude.
Fair.
And also, they're paying for my dinner, like I said, so I'm going to...
Also fair.
I got a few drinks. The tab comes out to like $100 and something. I don't know.
In
I didn't-
Chili's money, that's a lot.
Yeah, considering a full rack of baby back is just $20.
I didn't pay for it. All I know is
He
that
was
I got
just
a bunch
sucking
of food.
down Shirley Temples and
And so
racks of ribs.
So at the end of this, like we were there for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours of them feeding me.
I got to interrupt. My favorite part of this all is, as an ex-Chili's employee, everyone walking by you, as a server at Chili's, is like, God, this dumb motherfucker. Listening to this bullshit.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
So we're sitting there, or like I'm sitting there listening. 2 hours later, and like I said, I had a couple of drinks because I didn't have a car at the time, so I was Ubering to and from, so I didn't fucking care.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, and they're like, "So, Mark, what do you think? Do you think that you'd be a good fit for this family?"
Good fit.
Because they always call it a family. It's
Yeah,
never
always.
a business. And I was just like,
Well, and it's always, would you be a good fit for us?
"Yeah, would you be a good fit for us?"
We just told you about our business. Now tell us that you're good enough for us.
And
For your new family.
my response was to the guy from high school. I think his name is James.
To not Jerome.
To not Jerome, yeah. And I said to him, I was like, "Hey, bud, I'm going to tell you something right now in front of Jeremy here. Get the fuck out." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Dude, I have seen pyramid schemes. I know how they work. This is not going to work for you. It's going to work great for Jeremy. He's going to make a lot of money off of your work, but you're not going to make any money." And Jeremy's like, "Well, it really all depends on how much work he puts in. If he puts in the work, he's going to make the money." And I'm like, "No, he's not. Do you know how I know? Because I did this already. I've done this. I spent a year doing this company called Ambit. You know how much money I made off of it? Negative money. I lost money on this fucking business." And he's like, "Well, are you sure you put your whole heart into it?" And I was like, "Dude, I lost friendships trying to make this business work. Because if they weren't willing to do business with me, I wasn't willing to do business with them." And he's like, "Well, that's a great mentality." I was like, "Yeah. How many friends do you have, Jerome?" Or how many friends do you have, Jeremy? And he's like, "Well, with this business, I've made a lot of friends, a lot of contacts. No. How many friends do you have? How many personal friends do you have that have nothing to do with your business? He's like,
How many non-business contacts are in your phone right now?
and it was, well, if, like I said, if they weren't willing to do business with me, then why would I want to keep them around? Because that's what friends are. They're not business, you dipshit. And so James is sitting there, and I can tell that he's getting uncomfortable. And he's like, you know what, Mark? How's this? We'll put a pin on this for now, and I'll reach back out to you in a
Put
few
this on
months.
the back burner.
I'll reach out to you in a few months, see if anything changes. And I'm like, you know what? I would love to hear from you in 3 months. And he's like, great. Then yeah, I'll be in touch. Here's my card if you want to get in touch with me sooner. I was like, great. I took his card, put it in my pocket. Never did anything with it. And then sure enough, 3 months later, I finally hear back from James. And you know what it was? You were so fucking right.
Of course you were.
He's like, dude, I lost $5,000 on this company.
Ugh.
And I was like, really? He's like, I invested $8,000 because what Jeremy was telling him to do, because with most network markets, you have to buy your way in.
Right.
It's usually like $120, $150, something like that.
Sometimes they go up to $250.
Sometimes
It works
they
the
go
same way like that Jody Arias thing that we were
Yeah.
listening to. Where
Yeah.
so I spend $250 in order to have the right to sell insurance.
Exactly. So he's like, not only did I buy myself in, but Jeremy told me that a great way to make a solid relationship with your your lower levels is to buy their way in too.
With
Right.
your peons.
He ended up paying for 18 people to join his company, or his quote unquote company.
Because the thing is that you're
That's
told.
$2,000.
The thing that you're told is if you
Fucking idiot.
spend money, if you bring in more people, then that's when you start seeing the return. So he's sitting there thinking like, oh my god, I've got all these people.
How do you
I'm gonna
not
be
hear that and think pyramid scheme?
well. It's
Well, the more
it's
people I
like-
have under me, the more money I make. And the more people they have under them, the more money they make, so the more money I make. You know, it kind of works out really well.
Yeah,
Michael Scott,
Fucking idiots.
triangle.
the triangle.
But
Go call some people.
Well, so in that vein, let me tell you guys about this really, this really great opportunity I have. Sound effect. Have you guys heard of Cutco knives? Now these are really interesting. They can cut through it. So they've got the triangle
Hold on.
and the line between the triangles. And that's why they cut so well.
Yeah, but hold on. I have Cutco knives and I love them.
Yes, but have you ever been recruited to be a salesman?
Yeah, no.
No joke. They tried getting me when I was a sophomore in college. And one of the things they tell you
They
is...
always try to get
And
people
one of the
in
things they
college.
try and tell you is, I mean, if you work 80 hours a week, you can really, you can really make a good profit off this.
80 hours a week.
80
Fuck
hours
that.
a week.
80 hours a week. So
But goddamn, do they make good knives?
they make amazing knives, but I'm not going to go fucking
Also,
sell
you
them.
know they have utility knives now.
How about this? When they tried convincing me to sell them, they were like, well, we find it's best to go to family first. And I was like, I'm in college. I have no family in this town, and I don't have a car. And no joke, the guy that was trying to recruit me goes, well, you've got teachers, right? You can go try and sell to your teachers. And that's when I called in sick for the second day of training.
It's just one of those things that to these people, they don't care. Like, oh, yeah, just, come on, just hit up your grandma. You know your grandma's going to buy in anything you do. And then it's just like, so you're not close to your grandma? I mean, come on, you could have, like, some mentors,
Did
some,
your
like,
grandma sell you
religious
out for stealing
figures.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
Yeah. You gotta have some, like,
Fuck
youth.
you.
Come on, you have to have, like, a choir director or a youth pastor who
Well,
just loves you.
What about that
dude,
guy
it's
that lives down the road that
I
touched you
had-
when you were a kid?
Yeah.
You still keep in touch
I
with him?
had another one after I was done with college and I was bartending full time, making some decent money. This guy goes like, man, you're a great salesman. And I said, I know. Would you like another shot? And he said, yes, but I would really love to bring you into my company. I think we'd work well together. I'm in sales too. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, fuck yeah, get out of bars. I am a natural salesman. Mark, buy this from me. And
Hey, bud.
so I go to
Real
this guy's
quick?
meeting. What? I go to this guy's meeting, and it's in a hotel conference room, and it's a giant room, and all these people, and we sit down, and this couple comes on stage and like, hey guys, we're Mr. and Mrs. So and So, but you can call us Deb and Ron. So
Funny enough, that was the name of the people that got my parents into Ambit.
It's always a Deb and Ron.
It's always a Deb and Ron.
But if it's not Deb and Ron, it's some other 3-letter names.
Oh yeah. Well, and the thing was, like, I was excited. I was like, this guy sold it to me. I was like a meeting to start getting me into the company. So I'm sitting there and I'm wearing slacks and a nice shirt and a tie. And the second Deb and Ron get on stage, I take my tie off, not just loosen it. I take it off, untuck my shirt, and just get on my phone. So they see how uninterested I am. But I'm not just gonna get up and leave because we're in the front fucking row.
Right.
So I'm not gonna get up and leave. But then
Was there free food at this meeting?
no.
Oh God.
They were real bush league.
I would have left. I wouldn't give a fuck.
Well, so I stay and I listen to the spiel, and when I finally, like, they're like, so what do you think? You interested? I'm like, no, bye. He calls me 2 days later. He's like, hey, I'd really just like to meet up one last time. Can you come out this way? I was like, no. He goes, well, where do you live? Maybe I can come to you.
Oh, no.
I'm not telling this dude my address. So I go, I mean, by the McDonald's on Main Street. And he goes, well, we can meet there. And I go, yeah, okay. And I show up in torn camo shorts and a black tank top. And I look not professional at all.
That's just sexy.
And he offers to buy me lunch, which I get in a to-go bag. And he goes, so, like, I really think you should reconsider. I really think it's a good thing. I mean, you're so good at sales. So you're so great. And I just tell him, no, I'm not going to do it. And he says, well, do you think you know anyone who would, be interested?
Oh, my God.
And
That's
a
how they
light goes
fucking
off in my
transition.
head. And I go, dude, I think I do. And he goes, oh, okay. So, yeah. And I give him a buddy's name. But then I give him, and you were both looking at me a second ago because I was trying to call someone on my phone.
Uh-huh.
The phone number no longer works, but back then it did, and I knew it by heart. The rejection hotline.
Oh, yes. Wait, the rejection hotline doesn't work anymore?
The 773 number doesn't.
Oh, man.
773-509-5027.
Oh, God, how many times did you dole that number out?
A lot. A lot.
So, on the topic of giving out other people's information,
Oh, I've got one more. I got one more pyramid scheme.
go do it.
I've got a fun. So I never got sucked into pyramid schemes, but I had the interaction with you, Mark,
Fuck, yeah, that happened.
and
How long had it been between the last time you two talked?
So
and
I
when
do
Mark
want to
tried
give my
sell you
side. I
this?
do want to give my side of the story because we always hear Mark's, but I have this like crazy like almost like fever dream side of it. Because, all right, so...
Please tell me you were on acid at this meeting.
No. I wouldn't...
You're on Malort.
So we hadn't seen him since he graduated.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is...
I was my senior year.
2000...
It was 2010, maybe 2011.
It had to be 2011.
Mother.
Because I graduated
It
in
was a
2010.
decade
Right.
ago?
And I left to go to Austin in 2012.
Right, but it could have been between the time you graduated and the end of 2011
Yeah, it could have been.
or 2010.
So 2010 2011.
But the
somewhere in
important
there.
part is what you're saying is it was at least a decade.
it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
so so Mark calls me, or you messaged me.
I messaged you on Facebook and I was like, "Hey man,
Yeah.
you want to meet up at the mall later today?"
Yeah, at the mall. Not, hey
Let's
man.
all go to the mall
Like, hey
today.
man. Like, let's totally like meet up and like, let's get coffee or
Let's
something.
catch up. Yeah,
Yeah, it was, hey,
You're such a dick.
let's go to the mall.
it
'cause-
wasn't me that worded it. That was my dad.
But let's be honest, if you want to try to lure me into a false sense of security, inviting me to the mall because I'm such a shopaholic is absolutely the way to do it.
My dad wanted me to say, let's take him out to like Chili's or something. I was like, no, go to the mall.
That food court, that's his jam.
It was.
So anyway.
So we meet up.
So anyways, it's not just... One, I immediately knew something the fuck was up. Because Mark's wearing, like, business clothes. He's not... And I'm there... I'm in my full, like, punk rock phase still. So I'm wearing my acid wash jeans from American Apparel.
Are
Like
you
a
wearing your
total-
black parade jacket?
he was.
I was not wearing the black parade jacket. I have the black parade jacket.
No,
I was not wearing it. No, I was not wearing it because I remember I had my acid wash jeans on with my British flag
Your
chain
boots
hanging
in the
down
curl.
from.
Whole club looking at her.
because I was also wearing my tie-dye Chuck Taylors.
Apple bottom jeans.
And I was wearing my black biker vest with
that's right.
my Beatles with my red Abbey Road shirt underneath of
Please,
it.
for the love of God, tell me you rode up
And-
in a bicycle too.
No, even better. I had just had a really bad dye job, so I had tiger stripes essentially in my hair.
I forgot about the tiger stripes.
I had tiger stripes essentially because I left the dye in too long,
God.
and it came out orange instead of blonde.
Oh, I completely
And
forgot
then
about
on
that.
top of that, I had the full emo swoop, but I used to gel the back up in spikes, so it's straight in front and spiked up in the back, kind of looked like someone
Okay.
had blown your head out with a shotgun.
Okay, so Mark's there. Joe Exotic's new boyfriend rolls up to me.
I would have been absolute Joe Exotic bait. Abso-fucking-lutely. And there I am, like, hey, bud, how's it going? And it's... It is straight, like, Mark looked so rigid, and I'm just like, man, like, what's going on? Because, like, the last I heard, Mark was, like, working at the Lego store. So for me to go to the mall, with Mark, I'm like, cool, so we're gonna fucking go to the Lego store.
I get a Lego discount, mofo.
Yeah, I'm like, cool. And that's not what happened. And the thing that immediately made me like, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. Was Mark's dad was with him, and Mark's dad is not a friendly presence. He is, imagine Mark, but no joy or happiness.
He thinks he is. Though.
He thinks he is, but also Mark's dad is bigger than Mark.
My dad. When I said that Stan looks like my dad, it wasn't a joke.
But imagine
Angry
tall.
Stan? No.
But tall. And so, like, this is just like this whole weird thing, and I'm like, why? I'm like, why on earth did Mark invite me to come meet him at the mall with his dad?
In all honesty,
Like,
I was
what-
hoping you would propose to me that day.
And so,
Also, in Mark's
we're-
defense, he was still paying off the Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
we're just walking around and stuff, and this is Mark's whole pitch. He starts going into the pitch, and I'm just like,
Wait, this is while you're walking. You're not even like seated
no,
somewhere.
we're not seated or anything, because Mark's like, Mark had the right idea. If I sit Brandon down, he's not going to listen.
Yeah.
Was this supposed to be your first sale?
Yeah, Mark, what number sale? What?
Finish your story. I'll
So look, I will give Mark some credence here. He did go about this the right way. He had this planned out. But the mistake he made was he picked me. And I am always on my toes.
I don't know. You're
I
stupid
will
enough
g-
to get a hotel room with the two of us.
Stupid or smart?
Ask your butthole last night.
Hey, butthole.
Yeah, he
It was
farted.
great.
He farted today, and it sounded like a nice breeze rolled in.
It's crazy. 2 days ago, it sounded like a gunshot.
Yeah.
I am tightly wound.
Oh, the innuendo.
So, I am always suspicious of anything, and as I very much live by the mantra that if it sounds too good to be true, it is. And so that means it's just like so.
You're married.
Yeah, and she knows this too. Yeah, if it's too good to be true, it is. It's not. Don't believe it, kind of thing. And so I am always just like, something fucky's going on here.
Something
It's just
fucky's going on.
Yeah, something fucky's going on here. And then so Mark starts going into it, and I even was like I didn't see. The thing was, like, I was trying to be nice.
Of course.
But because I love Mark, and and I had
And you're
missed
scared
him
of
and
his
stuff.
dad.
I wasn't scared of his dad because
Mark was just scared of your dad.
I'm not afraid of people's parents
My
because
dad-
I was already afraid enough of my dad.
My dad gave us like about a 20-foot berth, so he wasn't like right up with us, but
Which made it worse.
because he was just walking behind us, just
Yeah, and his dad looked fucking serious the entire time. There was no
Predator eyes.
There was no like, hey, like good to see you, like how you been? No cordial stuff at all. Just okay.
Mark's dad walks up. Hey, Brandon, how you doing? What's your routing number?
He walks up. No, he walks up, shakes Brandon's hand like, "Hi, Brandon. Good to see you again."
Yeah,
that's it.
that is it. Cold and just as driven as that.
So
That's like you're sitting there and you're like, what did Mark tell him that we did in high school? What fucked up things did we do in high school that Mark's dad doesn't know? That prompted a letter. And back to your story.
So I even told Mark when we were enough away from his dad. I was like, me and Mark, like I appreciate you thinking of me with this and all, but this is I was like, this is not for me, and I really think you should be careful about what you're doing.
And I really think this should be not for you as well.
I told him, I was like, this sounds too good to be true, and I know your dad's in on this too, but you should be really careful, man. And he goes, oh yeah, thanks, bud. You've all, I know you've always kind of looked out for me, kind of thing. I appreciate it, because Mark's still kind of in this realm because he was so fresh into this. He was still in this realm of like,
let me tell you what. Why don't I get in touch with you in 3 months and we'll see how you're doing?
Because here's the thing that really upset me about the whole situation is it's not like Mark was in college and was like a freshman or anything. Like he was like not. He had was either just about to finish up with high school.
Didn't you say this was your 18th birthday present?
I was my senior year.
Yeah,
I was still in high school.
He was still in high school, and I'm like, this is really fucked up that they got him in so young.
Yeah.
Like holy shit,
they were grooming me.
Like
for this. I'm not.
I had friends in at San Jack, the community college I went to.
You're talking about the bar.
No. Wait, there's a bar called San Jack?
Yeah, it's on San Jack Street.
Man,
San Jacinto? Yeah, that's the college, San Jacinto High School, or college.
Oh,
yeah, it's the same.
Got it.
We just call it San Jack. We
upstairs
had a girl. We had a girl in our choir, and her family was just like yours, just gets into all the pyramid schemes. The difference was they got in. I'm not gonna give names. Anyways, she comes to. Because we all hung out as a choir together.
Every choir does.
Yeah, we just were kind of hanging out in
Same
the music
with all
hall.
the band groups.
Oh, yeah.
Theater kids.
Yeah.
But we just all hung out in the... Well, also in college because... I mean, let's be honest. Unless you're in a fraternity or sorority or you have, like, friends that you've made, you don't really hang out in groups.
No, shit, like in college, if it's like if you find a group, it's like, oh, this is an apartment. Everyone that lives in the apartment, we're that group now. Like,
yeah, exactly. And so that's just how we were, but with choir. And she comes in and starts telling us about like this crazy thing like her parents had gotten into, and she bought into it wholeheartedly. We're all just sitting there.
Much money.
We're just all sitting there like, oh no, who's gonna tell her? Who's gonna tell her? And then it finally comes and she goes, yeah. And I mean, it's just so easy. I just wanted to tell y'all about it. I mean, because it would just be so much better, like, to have my friends in it. And then I chime in and I go, it's a fucking pyramid scheme. And she's just like, what? No, it's not. And, like, it's seriously, like, that... I didn't watch The Office when I was younger. So, like, I'm not kidding. I am late to The Office bandwagon as far as how amazing the show is. But I had watched, like, episodes here and there. I never watched an entire season until quarantine hit. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to watch all The Office because, one, all the memes that I love come from The Office.
As they should.
So I'm going to watch all this. And when it gets to the episode where they're telling Michael he's in a pyramid scheme, I'm like, wow, this is so relatable.
Right.
All right. So I just want to give my side of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I love that we're still unpacking this a decade later.
We're going to go back
Literally.
a couple of days. Okay, we're going to go back a couple of days.
Okay. Oh, sweet.
Well,
so I don't know. I don't know about this.
Beforehand.
All right, cool.
So, to give some backstory, my dad had already had me try this on both Jesse and Davis.
Actually, I have a question to start.
Yeah.
What number pyramid scheme is this for your family?
I don't know. It's so many of them. I don't know.
If you had to guesstimate,
12.
what do you think the total...
So far, to date, because they are still signing up
to
for
the date
pyramid
of
schemes,
2020?
I'd say they've been about 10 or 12. Maybe even more.
How the fuck
do you not figure it out by then? Anyway, back to you. Sorry.
Anyway, so prior to this event, my dad had already gotten me to talk to pretty much everybody that I knew from high school. But by talk to each of them, I mean like he would go with me and he would do all the talking.
And surprisingly, that wouldn't go well.
And the two people that I saved that I was not going to do this to was you and Jesse until my contact list ran out. And then he was like, "You've got two people that you refuse to do this with. Just talk to them." And I was like,
Good
"Dad."
Lord. No wonder your dad looks so pissed.
And I was like, "Dad, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do this with these two people." And he's like, "Why?" And I was like, "First of all, it's embarrassing that I have to keep talking to my high school friends about joining a business because my high school friends are kids. We don't have money."
Right. They're worrying about,
And also,
graduating.
the senior year is not the year to talk to people about getting into a business because you're like, man, I'm going to fucking like Florida State or I don't know. They're about to go the fuck away.
So Jesse, when I talked to Jesse, his response was, "Get the fuck out of here." So like,
Where did you talk? Did you talk to Jesse at Chili's or in the mall?
I went over to his house.
Okay, that's fair.
So what?
So he literally threw you out.
No, because Jesse and Mark were closer than Mark and I were at this point.
Me and Jesse were best friends.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so shitty of your dad.
So
Hey, go to your best friend and try and screw him out of money.
So literally, to the point where you got there, me and my dad were arguing about whether or not I was going to do this.
I'm sure your dad was thrilled the way I came up looking. He's like, oh, fuck.
So the entire time, like, I gave the spiel because, like, and honestly, you were my first person, or no, second person I ever gave the spiel to. Like, you were the
Because your
second
dad
person.
just did it every time?
My dad would do it every time. So the only other person I ever did it for was Jesse.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it was fucking horrible.
And I was nice, and I let Mark do the whole spiel, because I was like, I love this guy, I'm going to hear him out.
Hey, son, do you want to ruin all of your friendships?
Hey, Brandon, do you want to lose all of your money and maybe not make any money on the side?
While
Here's how.
also
Are you telling me
burning the
to
bridges
invest
of
in
your
a comic
closest
book
family and
Fuck. And that's
Oh, that's a deep cut.
that's where we're wrapping up for today, guys, because that's a story for another time with other people.
I still have another
You still have
pyramid
another one.
scheme story.
Okay.
And you're going to love this one. 'Cause
Go.
I didn't get to tell you the fun part
I can
before.
edit, yeah.
So I have a friend we'll call Sarah.
Is her name actually Sarah?
No,
Is his name
I
Sarah?
debated giving the actual name and being like, we'll call him that, but no. So Sarah moves out west and, is loving life out there and everything, and we get
Did
in
she
touch.
sing Way Out West on the Way Out There?
I mean, obviously. So we get in touch about just like hanging out, meeting up with our old group of friends, and like doing like a, hey, we're adults, let's go somewhere and act like we're in college again, get drunk, and possibly everyone just sleep with each other again. And so
Why have we not done that yet?
because I didn't go to college with you.
Oh.
So we're thinking about doing this and everything, and
Sleeping together?
I mean, there was subtext as
What
there is to
sex?
everything. I mean, did you guys not do that? Like, when I was
I
like,
didn't go to I went to community college.
when I was 20-something, like,
I am
your
20-something.
friends would all just sleep with each other.
Okay, I was up till recently I was married and so was he.
I'm still
I said
married.
Is, I said is he.
You said was. You 100% said was.
I said and so is he.
No, you said
So anyway.
up until a while ago I was still married,
None
and so
of
was
this is
he.
the important
so
part.
you threw it in like, oh, Brandon also used to be married.
I didn't say was, I said is.
So none of this is the important part. The important part is we're like, oh yeah, we should all meet up and hang out and do like a vacation like we should do a destination vacation, like, just like a 3-day weekend or something.
Wait,
But then
wait,
me and Sarah-
So you like set this up
No,
with
no.
this person?
So this is a group of like 7 or 8 people, and we're all
Okay.
like, oh, we should go meet up. But like whenever we would do that in high school, or not in high school, I'm sorry, in college.
college.
Like sexy times. But we're all adults now. We're like, hey, we should all go meet up. A lot of subtext. Well, anyway, so Sarah and I start talking because we start planning it.
Uh-huh.
And when I say planning it, it's mostly like, hey, this would be a fun place.
Oh, yeah.
This would be a fun time. And like we never actually plan anything. But then Sarah calls me one day and is like, hey, how you doing? How's life? I'm like, honestly, really good. I live in Austin now. I'm in a job that it's actually going somewhere, I'm pretty happy.
Oh, so
Sarah
this
says-
too was also pretty recent.
This was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And Sarah goes, well, let me ask you a question, Jeff.
Oh God.
Is there anything in your life that if you could, you would change it? And I said, yeah, of course. There's always something in everyone's life you could change.
That's the easiest
And she
like,
goes-
nothing question you can ask.
And Sarah goes, well, I did it. Let me tell you how I changed my life for the better. And I go, oh, do tell.
I know where this is going.
Because you already saw where this was going.
Obviously, it's so obvious. And Sarah goes, so I went to this seminar, and, they really helped me out. And it's called the Psi Seminar, PSI. And
Oh, fuck. I know this.
and they and there's a reason why you know this. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Oh, okay.
And they just really helped me. They helped me realize the things that I was doing in my life that really weren't working for me and changing those behaviors. I was like, oh, I'm really happy for you. That's really awesome. She goes like, yeah, I loved it, and like it was so amazing. It was such a good thing for me. And I was like, that's great. And she goes, you should really think about doing one. And I go, oh, here it is. Now, because like the entire time I was like, maybe it's just like some self-help seminar or whatever. And she goes, but the second she goes, you should think about doing one. I was like, and pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
And it turns out because it's one of the weird pyramid schemes where it's not, well, you can make money. It's you can better your life. But she can.
Oh, yeah, it's a
she
yes
went
man
to the-
pitch.
Exactly. She went to the intro meeting, but she can go to more meetings to help further improve her life. And it's cheaper for her to go to those ones if she gets me to sign up for the introductory one. So on and so forth. So I string her along.
It's
and
like
I'm
essentially when your apartment complex says like, hey, like we'll give you discount your rent $400 the first month that you get you reference someone
See,
to sign up.
no, because then I get cheaper rent.
Right.
This is
And they have a good place to live.
exactly.
Because you're living there.
This is Jeff. Why don't you come to this meeting? By the way, they're only held in Vegas. So you have to fly out, get a hotel,
Nothing says self-help.
pay $300 on top of it
Nothing says
for a
self-help.
3-day self-help.
Nothing says self-help like, hey, so we're going to go to Vegas.
Here's the best part, guys. And I haven't asked her about this, and I'm not going to.
Oh,
But-
you should.
I'm 82% sure that the Psi seminars are the first step of what eventually becomes Nexium.
I think you're... I know.
What's Nexium?
That's why I was like... I
Nexium
think-
is the celebrity sex cult where they brand your pussy.
Yes.
Wait, I can do that?
Allison Mack from
Smallville
Smallville was one of the
She
top
was the top
leaders.
recruiter, and she came up with the idea of branding pussies. So I'm fairly certain that this girl is in the starter group for Nexium.
That's why I was like, I know this.
Yeah, I know. And she was trying to get me in. And I was just like, ooh. And the best part of it is a little later on, like the other people in the group that we were going to hang out with, I was like, hey guys, I think Sarah's in Nexium. And they're all like,
Yeah, we know.
no, they're all like, ooh.
All the women start raising their dresses.
Well, you
We
can
know.
reach out to her. We don't want to. And that was it.
So I have one more. So this isn't one I had a personal interaction with. Like no one like pitched this one to me, and I didn't
Right.
go. I was doing on one of my Comic-Con trips with Illuminidol.
Where to?
This was in Dallas,
Gotcha.
up in the Irving Center.
Fan Expo?
Huh?
Fan Expo?
Dallas Fan Days.
Got it.
The sister show.
Yep. The Pussy Show, gotcha.
Ooh, there's shows for where you can watch your sisters?
Mark!
Oh, I just want to see your sisters. I don't care about my sisters.
Mark!
We can sign up for that.
What?
What?
Both of your sisters are over 18. It's okay.
Mark! So, we're staying at this hotel. And this is one of the shows. My boss ended up... he was doing some...
Circle jerking.
No.
No, that
He
was
was-
us.
Oh, right.
He was doing some he was doing some things up at the hotel room, like talking to vendors and stuff,
Yeah, he was.
setting up accounts and whatnot, and I was walking through the lobby, And this is like right next to the giant like conference hall that they have down in the hotel room. Not in the hotel room, in the hotel. And there are just tons of young business people in the suits.
Dude,
And,
oh my god.
I look into this conference hall.
Real quick. You go, there's just tons of young, and you're talking about a con. I'm like, oh god, no. Oh, not the kids who are too young wearing sexy, creepy cosplay.
No, not. I'm walking through.
Sexy, creepy ghost.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm walking through right next to the conference hall, and the doors are open, mind you, because they're like setting up, and everybody's getting there. I'm like, whoa, what the hell is going in here? That stage is elaborate. There's all sorts of things
There's
and
crystals everywhere.
fixtures set up on the stage and whatnot. And then I saw table after table after table lined with alcohol. And I'm like, holy shit.
And then the dildos
Well-
and condoms.
And I'm like, what is going on? This is insane. And so I see
Quaaludes.
all these, and like I said, these are young, college age, like people going into marketing, like the marketing, like, and this is when I started like piecing it together because I ended up getting hold of one of the ads. I don't remember what the conference was called, but this was
Fuck your way to success.
This is one of those. Like the door-to-door marketing salesman
Oh
thing,
my God.
where they're like, "Hey, so as you can see,
I have
gonna-
a vacuum.
no,
You could have a vacuum.
No, like, hey, so as you can see, all this construction that's going around, they're putting in the, go fuck yourself,
Sensory.
fiber optic phone lines are
That
going
sounds
in,
amazing.
and they're like, do you want us to like get you hooked up? These are all the like, that kind of marketing.
Who opens their door to a stranger anymore?
I don't open my door, period.
Yeah, I don't. I look through the peephole. I'm like, who is it?
Well, what's great is where I'm living now, it's like one of those big open windows. So you can
Nice.
just see who's out there. And usually it's one of the neighborhood kids wanting to like sweep our porch or something. So whenever they knock on the door, I just see.
All right, so quick side story.
Not
Not cutting that.
Quick
part.
side story from the side story. In response to people knocking at your door, there is a Mormon family that live in our apartment complex,
The Walkers?
and they have several. They have several kids that are also
Shock.
in the
Mormon
right,
family has several kids.
that are in the process of their training
for Mormonism, for missionary.
yeah,
short.
for missionary training. I hear some like knocking at the door, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? And I just look through the peephole, and I'm like, oh fuck,
Brandon
there
hears
are
a
Mormons out.
rapping as chamber door.
Yeah, and I just look through the peephole, and I'm like, holy fuck, they're Mormons.
There's the children of the damned.
And but I also recognize them as the kids that lived in our apartment complex.
Right, so when they're
So-
Mormoning out, you don't just see them.
Were they
as
dressed in
Mormons.
the traditional Mormon attire?
The short sleeve, button down white shirt,
and the-
tie, back, black
yeah.
slacks. Yeah.
The Dwight Schrute, yeah.
Let me tell you about. Want to talk to you about this?
Have you heard the good news?
Yeah, and so they I opened up the door, and they start going on their whole little thing, like, oh, we're here, and they're like, look, at this point the Mormon Church knows. They're like, look, we know we have an image, kind of thing. So they're like, hey, we're here with Latter-day Saint, Church of Latter-day Saints and everything. And I'm just kind of like, oh, these kids are doing their thing, whatever.
This
and
is
so
why you keep a squirt gun fully loaded next to the front door at all times.
with alcohol. So
No.
then they smell like they went out partying.
No, with urine and alcohol.
No. But
and
so
semen.
Then it smells like they went out partying and then got drunk and peed themselves.
You just squirt it at their penis. That's all you gotta do.
yeah. But so
Don't do that to children,
yeah,
Brandon.
don't do that to
That's
children.
disgusting
It's
when you do
terrible.
that
What
to
is
children.
wrong with you? Why would you think that's funny, Brandon?
Brandon, there's kids are just trying to live out their
Mark,
best
I
life.
think it's time for us to go.
We're
This
wrapping
is getting
this up.
awkward.
Fuck the rest of this story. We're out.
Okay.
Okay, Brandon, I'm sorry. You can finish your story.
Okay, God. So they could do their little spell. Mind you, there's like 3 of them.
Right.
They're all just kind of like, they're all like varying in age, essentially, too.
That's just gross.
And yeah, and I'm just listening to them do their little spiel, and
A little glockenspiel.
I let them finish, their whole little thing, and I was like, guys, I really appreciate y'all stopping by.
But there is no God.
No, I was like, I really appreciate you coming and sharing the good news with me. Do you mind if I share some good news with you? And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. Because they're like, oh, well, we don't want to, like, tell him no after we just did this whole thing.
You just blasted
yeah,
Ghost for them.
and I almost did.
He
I
leans
did
in
one,
and just whispers, "Do you see my wife over there? I fucked her this morning."
And they were like,
And
oh,
I
really?
didn't
Where's your
use-
sheet with the hole?
And I didn't use the holy sheet.
I didn't use the holy sheet or the right hole.
Ooh, men are nasty.
They're not Mennonites, you fuck. It's a completely different thing.
That's why they call it put a little English on her.
Oh.
Do you see
where
those
do we get
balls? I slapped my dick on her balls all night.
Mark?
What? Jasmine,
no.
I know that you don't have balls. I'm sorry.
Why are you getting so close to the mic?
Because I want her to hear it.
You think she listens to this?
I'm gonna ask her to listen to it.
Jeff, get away from me!
her to hear the breath.
Ew, I'm uncomfortable.
You see that lady over there, kids? I put my penis inside of her.
And so, and I'm like, all right, so let me tell y'all something about my faith. I'm like, have y'all ever heard the good news of our Lord and Savior Satan? And they bolted.
What would have been even better is if you like changed your voice. Have you ever heard of the good news about our Lord and Savior, Satan?
I still think the best would have been if you were like, let me put a hymn on for you.
And this is even
And you
better.
turn on Ghost and it's just...
Or-
Do y'all like gospel music?
You like?
Y'all listen to the Mormon
Timmy, have
choir?
you ever been in a Turkish prison?
Damn it, you bitch! I was about to say that.
So
My little story.
now, mind you, later that night, I'm going back through. This is after I've worked a day at the show,
Right.
and I'm walking back through.
the
I'm
booze-
walking. Yeah,
The booze table.
yeah. I
booze
see all the
table.
booze, and so I'm walking back into the hotel at the end of the day, and they are fucking partying it up. There's fucking rave music going on, and let me tell you,
baby.
let me tell you something.
Baby.
Those people know how to fucking party.
Yeah.
But, alright, but here's the thing. The next day, I go back downstairs and I'm getting my coffee at the little Starbucks in the hotel. And
They're
like
all in
they're
chains?
no, well, alright, hold on, now you're getting ahead of me.
They're all in handcuffs.
This is one of those marketing, the intense marketing groups that get you to party really hard and then they fucking haze you.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those conferences, and so then, like, you just hear, like, yelling and screaming inside of the conference because they're all, like, getting in each other's face as they're all fucking hungover and just yelling at each other and, like, getting in, and I'm just like, what the
Now, do you want to know what
fuck
the
is
real
happening?
funniest part about these types of meetings is?
Huh.
There's like a quarter of the people who just don't give a shit and they're upstairs because they just fucked all night and
Yeah.
they're sleeping next to the chick that they fucked. Those are the people who know how to beat the system.
Right. And so, but it went like this the whole weekend. I'm like, what the fuck kind of BDSM bullshit is this?
And it was Chase.
Chase Bank?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. JP Morgan?
Yep.
JP Morgan and Chase?
Yeah.
Just fucking going at it?
Yeah,
Just,
and
just
so
skithering.
Figuring out which of their penises is going to open up to accept the other one?
that's called docking.
Brandon, it's not docking.
Docking.
No, that's not... It's from the fucking Office.
It's called docking.
That's not what Dwight was referring
Imagine
to.
two
So?
peni and one becomes a Venus flytrap and goes after the other.
All I can fucking think about is the Shin Godzilla with how its mouth opens up to shoot the laser. The bottom jaw detaches.
It falls off like the vampires in Blade 2.
I never saw Blade 1 or 2.